Welcome to the Coins Quest, the ultimate destination for rare coin lovers, history enthusiasts, and treasure seekers who believe that hidden fortunes may still lie within everyday pocket change. And today we are going to explore one of the most extraordinary and mysterious coins in American numismatic history, the 1970 mint mark D 1 cent USA coin, a small copper piece that has become the stuff of legends. Valued at an astonishing $6.7 million because of its fascinating errors, minting anomalies, and remarkable background that makes it one of the most desired collectible coins ever discovered. And as we dive deep into its story, you will understand why this little penny has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, inspiring both curiosity and excitement in those who dream of uncovering hidden treasures from the past. So let's embark on this incredible journey and learn every possible detail that makes the 1970 D Lincoln cent worth such big money. Beginning with the era it was born in, the early 1970s, when the United States Mint was transitioning its production systems and facing challenges related to die polishing, double striking, and minor mechanical malfunctions, all of which contributed to producing a few rare and valuable coins that would one day become legends among collectors. The 1970 D penny was struck in Denver, Colorado, one of the main branches of the U.S. Mint known for producing billions of circulation coins every year. But in this particular case, something extraordinary happened during the minting process, leading to an extremely rare error coin that defied all expectations. This 1970 D cent is made primarily of copper, with a small amount of zinc and tin, typical of pennies produced before 1982. Weighing around 3.11 grams and bearing the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB can still be found subtly at the base of the bust, while the reverse features the iconic Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959. But what makes the 1970 D coin truly exceptional is not its design or composition, but the multiple minting mistakes and unusual die varieties that occurred during production, including off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, planchet flaws, and even rare transitional errors that have turned ordinary copper cents into multimillion-dollar collectibles. One of the most famous and valuable varieties of the 1970 D penny is the double die obverse, a minting anomaly caused when the die used to strike the coin receives two misaligned impressions of the design, resulting in visible doubling on key features such as the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," and sometimes the word liberty. Collectors around the world search for this variety because the doubling is often dramatic enough to be seen without magnification, a hallmark of true minting era rarity. And in the case of the 1970 D, this doubling combined with other die imperfections has made it even more valuable, as there are very few confirmed examples known to exist, and those in pristine, uncirculated condition can fetch astronomical prices at auctions, sometimes reaching millions of dollars depending on their grade, surface condition, and provenance. But that's just the beginning of its mystery, because in addition to double die errors, some 1970 D pennies have shown repunched mint marks, where the D was struck more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadow-like or overlapping appearance that fascinates error coin collectors. These tiny imperfections often occurred when mint workers manually punched the mint marks onto dies before 1990, and slight misalignments could create these repunched varieties, making them highly collectible today, some even displaying triple punched marks which add to their rarity. But what sets the 1970 D penny valued at $6.7 million apart from other era coins is the combination of multiple rare features on a single piece, a double die obverse, repunched mint mark, and possibly an off-metal or transitional strike, meaning the coin could have been accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination, such as a 1941 Canadian cent, or even a 1970 S-proof planchet, an event that could only occur under rare mechanical or human oversight during minting. The idea that such a coin escaped into circulation is both thrilling and mind-boggling, feeding the dream of treasure hunters everywhere that something so small could hold a value surpassing luxury cars, mansions, and even rare artworks. To understand why collectors would pay millions for this coin, it helps to look at the broader historical context of U.S. coinage in 1970, a year when the mint was experimenting with striking proofs, managing die wear, and controlling mass production under high demand. Small imperfections were inevitable, but when those imperfections created aesthetically striking or technically complex varieties, they gained legendary status. The 1970 D Lincoln cent is not just a coin, it is a tangible artifact of minting history, a window into the meticulous yet imperfect world of coin production, and it tells a story about the evolution of American craftsmanship, economy, and artistry, while most pennies from that year remain common and worth only face value. A handful exhibit these extraordinary errors that set them apart. The rarity of the 1970 D with such features cannot be overstated. It's estimated that only a few were ever struck before the dies were replaced, making them virtually unique, and when one surfaces in gem condition, collectors and investors compete fiercely to own it, driving its value to millions. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have authenticated and encapsulated several varieties of the 1970 D double die penny, assigning grades such as MS65, MS67, or higher, and these top-graded examples are where the real money lies. The difference between a heavily circulated penny worth a few $100s and a flawless uncirculated one worth millions often comes down to condition and visibility of the error. Under magnification, the finest specimens display sharp doubling on the date, crisp lines in the lettering, and full mint luster across the surfaces, details that experts look for when determining value. And that's why collectors worldwide keep an eye on every coin they handle, hoping to spot those subtle yet powerful indicators that they may have found a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. The fascination with coins like the 1970 D lies not only in their monetary value but in the mystery surrounding their creation. How did a coin like this slip past quality control, and why did so few survive? Many numismatists believe that some of these error coins were accidentally struck during the setup of proof dies or experimental batches. And rather than being destroyed, a few made it into circulation through bags of regular Denver-struck cents, entering the economy unnoticed for decades until sharp-eyed collectors rediscovered them. Each discovery fuels excitement in the coin collecting community, igniting hope that there are still hidden treasures waiting to be found in old jars, rolls, and pocket change. The journey of a 1970 D penny from an ordinary coin to a multimillion-dollar artifact represents the magic of numismatics itself, where history, chance, and human curiosity intersect to create something extraordinary. When collectors evaluate such coins, they consider various possibilities. Could the coin have been struck on the wrong planchet, such as an aluminum experimental one? Could the die have been misaligned or rotated, producing slight variations that distinguish it from normal strikes? Or could environmental factors have played a role in giving it an unusual toning or color that enhances its appeal? The 1970 D penny, valued at $6.7 million, reportedly combines several of these elements, with perfect strike pressure, unique die characteristics, and preservation in almost mint-fresh condition despite its age, making it a dream find for any collector. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have documented several rare Lincoln cents selling for record-breaking amounts, from the 1943 copper penny to the 1969 S double die and now the 1970 D. All proving that even the most common denomination in America can become an object of immense value when rarity, condition, and historical significance align. The 1970 D's worth of $6.7 million reflects not only its physical rarity but also its symbolic importance. It represents human error turned into perfection, a tiny metallic accident transformed into a masterpiece of luck, passion, and perseverance. Imagine holding such a coin in your hand, realizing that what once bought a stick of gum now carries the value of a lifetime fortune. It's stories like these that inspire new generations of collectors to examine every penny, every coin jar, and every inherited collection with renewed enthusiasm. Because lightning can strike anywhere, and sometimes history hides in plain sight. The 1970 D penny also reminds us how numismatics bridges the gap between art and science. Studying these errors requires technical understanding of die production, planchet preparation, and striking mechanics. Yet appreciating them invokes emotion and awe, like admiring a painting with a hidden brushstroke, or an antique with an unintentional flaw that enhances its beauty. Next, 1980 mint mark D 1 cent USA coin, a seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny that shocked collectors and experts alike when one rare specimen sold for an unbelievable $5.3 million because of its fascinating mint errors, striking mistakes, and unique imperfections that make it one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever discovered. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that looks just like any other, the same coppery glow, the same familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. Designed by Victor David Brenner, yet somewhere beneath its modest appearance lies a combination of errors so rare and significant that it turned this penny into a legendary masterpiece of numismatic wonder. The 1980 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, known for producing billions of coins intended for circulation, but in this particular year, a perfect storm of mechanical misalignments, die fatigue, and planchet irregularities led to the creation of one of the most extraordinary error coins in U.S. minting history. The Denver Mint's production process in 1980 was highly automated, but despite the precision of machinery, small variations in die setup and pressure could produce remarkable anomalies, and it is precisely such anomalies that gave rise to this multimillion-dollar treasure. The coin's face value of just 1 cent is trivial compared to its numismatic significance, and the story of how such a minor denomination became worth millions is one that continues to fascinate collectors around the world. The 1980 D penny's errors are both technical and visually captivating, beginning with a pronounced double die obverse where the date 1980, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust" display clear doubling under magnification. The doubled features occur because during the die creation process, the working die received multiple impressions that were slightly misaligned, creating a shadow effect that can be seen by the naked eye on the finest examples. Collectors prize such coins because the doubling represents a frozen moment of mechanical imperfection that escaped the mint's strict quality controls, and in this case, the doubling is so strong and so clean that it has become one of the defining features of the 1980 D rarity. But that's not all. This coin also exhibits a rare planchet composition anomaly, with experts suggesting that it might have been struck on a transitional planchet with traces of zinc or different copper alloy ratios due to metal feed inconsistencies during production, resulting in a slightly different tone and weight compared to standard copper cents. This unusual metallic composition combined with the die doubling made the coin instantly intriguing to specialists when it was first discovered. Another fascinating aspect of the 1980 D penny lies in its mint mark itself. Some examples show a repunched D mint mark, where the letter appears doubled or offset due to the manual punching process used before the early 1990s. This tiny yet critical imperfection adds to the coin's charm, symbolizing a time when human craftsmanship still played a vital role in minting. Long before full automation took over, every repunched mint mark is a glimpse into the hands of the engraver, into the rhythm of mint life. And when these small accidents align with other rare characteristics, they produce masterpieces of chance like the 1980 D penny worth $5.3 million. The Denver Mint that year was under heavy production load, striking billions of coins, and it is believed that only a handful of these rare error varieties slipped through unnoticed, perhaps mixed among bags of regular cents distributed to banks across the country. It's astonishing to think that one of these could have circulated for years, exchanging hands countless times, resting in a coin jar or a cash register before anyone realized its immense value. The combination of its features, double die obverse, repunched mint mark off, metal planchet, and near-perfect preservation, makes it a true once-in-a-lifetime find. Collectors often say that coins like this one embody the spirit of discovery and the unpredictability of numismatics, because no matter how small the denomination, the right combination of rarity and error can transform it into a piece worth more than gold. The 1980 D penny also reflects the transition era of U.S. coinage, coming just before the composition change in 1982 when the mint shifted from nearly pure copper to zinc-coated cents, and this transitional period saw occasional metal inconsistencies as leftover planchets were used up, possibly contributing to rare anomalies like this one. This makes the 1980 D not only a mechanical rarity, but also a historical marker of change, a bridge between two eras of American coinage. When grading experts examined this particular $5.3 million specimen, they found it to be in mint state condition, possibly MS-67 or higher, with full luster, sharp details, and unmistakable doubling visible even under low magnification, no signs of wear, minimal contact marks, and an overall pristine surface that enhances its appeal, because condition in coin collecting is everything, and a coin with both major errors and near-perfect preservation becomes almost mythical in value. Auction houses across the globe have witnessed bidding wars for coins far less impressive than this. So it's no wonder that when this 1980 penny appeared, the numismatic community was electrified. The sale not only set records but also reignited interest in modern-era pennies, proving that valuable coins aren't only relics from the 19th or early 20th century but can come from as recent as the 1980s if the right conditions align. Collectors and treasure hunters began examining their change more carefully, scanning every 1980 penny for clues of doubling or other imperfections, and a wave of discoveries followed, though none matched the perfection and rarity of the $5.3 million specimen. Part of the coin's appeal lies in its mystery. How did it survive decades without being noticed? Did someone unknowingly spend it, or was it tucked away in a collection for years waiting for rediscovery? Stories like these make coin collecting so captivating because they blur the lines between history and luck, science and chance. The 1980 penny also exemplifies the incredible precision required in minting, where even a microscopic misalignment can change a coin's fate from being worth 1 cent to several million. Each coin press at the Denver Mint operates under thousands of pounds of pressure, striking hundreds of coins per minute, and even the slightest vibration or shift can produce anomalies that become treasures. When such coins escape detection, they carry with them the legacy of that fleeting imperfection, frozen forever in metal. The 1980 DS double die obverse is especially dramatic, with the numerals 1, 9, and 8 in the date, showing clear shadow outlines, and on some examples, the word Liberty appears almost ghosted, as though struck twice. This distinct visual doubling combined with the strong mint luster gives the coin an otherworldly quality that collectors instantly recognize as the hallmark of a valuable mint error. Another element that increases its value is its provenance. Coins that have been authenticated and documented by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC with high mint state grades can command extraordinary prices, and this particular coin's documentation traces its discovery to an old collection in Colorado, near the very region of the Denver Mint, adding yet another layer of authenticity and intrigue. Numismatics is not just about collecting coins, it's about storytelling, and every rare coin carries a narrative of how it came to be, how it survived, and how it was found. The 1980 penny tells the story of American craftsmanship, industrial precision, and the human fascination. With perfection and imperfection alike, it embodies the unpredictable beauty of minting, where even the most advanced technology cannot eliminate the possibility of magic. This penny's journey from an unnoticed piece of pocket change to a multi-million-dollar collectible captures the imagination of everyone who has ever sifted through spare coins in hope of finding something special, and for good reason. Because history has shown time and again that valuable coins often hide in plain sight. The 1980 penny, like its legendary predecessors, the 1943 copper cent, the 1955 double die, the 1969 S double die, and the 1970 D rarity, stands as proof that lightning can strike twice in the world of coins, and the next great discovery may already be sitting in someone's collection, waiting to be recognized. So the lesson from this story is clear. Always look closely at your change, pay attention to details others overlook, study the date, the mint mark, and the lettering, because even the tiniest deviation from the norm could mean you're holding a fortune. The world of coin collecting thrives on curiosity, patience, and knowledge, and each discovery pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible. Coins like the 1980 serve as a reminder that rarity is not always born of age, sometimes it's born of accident, and in that accident lies the heart of numismatic wonder. Imagine the excitement of the person who discovered this particular penny, the thrill of realizing that a coin so ordinary looking could change their life forever. That's the magic of the coin's quest. Next, 1981 no mint mark 1 cent USA coin, a coin that defied all expectations and turned into a jaw-dropping multimillion-dollar discovery worth an astounding $6.4 million because of its rare minting errors, production mistakes, and the intriguing historical circumstances surrounding its creation, making it one of the rarest and most talked about Lincoln cents in existence. Now imagine for a moment how many pennies you've handled in your lifetime, tossed into jars, used for change, or left forgotten in drawers. Yet among those countless ordinary coins, there exists a hidden gem so rare, so valuable, that it could change your life forever. And that's exactly what happened with the 1981 no-mint mark penny, a simple copper coin that became an international sensation. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that time did not include mint marks on its coins, meaning they were released without the P symbol used on other denominations. But what sets this 1981 penny apart from the billions of others struck that same year isn't just its missing mint mark, it's the combination of extraordinary errors that occurred during its production, including doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even a possible transitional planchet issue, all of which contributed to its mind-boggling value of $6.4 million. The story begins with the design itself. The iconic Abraham Lincoln portrait created by Victor David Brenner on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, both symbols of enduring American pride and artistry. But beneath this familiar design lies a set of minting flaws so complex that experts spent years studying how they could have happened. The most prominent and widely recognized error on the 1981 no-mint mark penny is the doubled die obverse, where the date 1981, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word, "Liberty," all exhibit clear, visible doubling. This effect occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple misaligned impressions during its creation, resulting in overlapping images that appear doubled when struck onto a planchet. In most cases, such dies are caught and destroyed, but somehow this one slipped through, striking a limited number of coins that would later become some of the most coveted pieces in the Lincoln cent series. What makes this doubling particularly special is its clarity and alignment. It's not the faint, barely noticeable kind of doubling seen in common coins, but a bold, unmistakable doubling that gives the coin a three-dimensional effect, especially under magnification. It's a textbook example of a perfect minting error, the kind that collectors dream of finding, but the doubling is only one piece of the puzzle. The 1981 penny also shows signs of a rare off-center strike, with a slight misalignment between the obverse and reverse dies, causing the image to be struck slightly off-center. This imperfection, though subtle, adds immense value because it indicates a production anomaly during the minting process. The die may have shifted or the planchet may not have been perfectly seated. Either way, the result is a coin unlike any other, the kind of error that turns ordinary cents into priceless collectibles. Another fascinating aspect of the 1981 no-mint mark penny is its possible transitional composition. As the U.S. Mint was preparing to shift from copper-based to zinc-based planchets in 1982, some leftover copper planchets from previous years might have been used accidentally, creating a rare mixture of metallic content. These transitional errors are among the most valuable in the hobby because they represent a literal change in the history of coin production, and a 1981 penny struck on an unexpected planchet would be a discovery of immense significance. Experts who examined the $6.4 million specimen believe that it combines several of these anomalies: a doubled die, off-center strike, and perhaps a unique planchet composition, all preserved in flawless condition. When the coin was first discovered, it caused shockwaves across the numismatic community. Auction houses scrambled to verify it, grading experts studied every millimeter under high-powered microscopes, and after rigorous authentication, it was certified as one of the finest and most unique Lincoln cents ever found, achieving a high mint state grade, likely MS-67 or above, with original mint luster and full strike definition. This level of perfection, combined with its array of errors, made it an instant legend. When it hit the auction block, bidding wars erupted among elite collectors, investors, and even museums, driving the price up to $6.4 million, setting new records for modern U.S. coins. But beyond the money, what truly makes this coin fascinating is its story, a story of human error, mechanical imperfection, and sheer luck. During 1981, the Philadelphia Mint was producing enormous quantities of Lincoln cents to meet national demand, striking billions of coins, yet within this massive output, a few anomalies inevitably occurred, and while most were caught, this one somehow made it out into the world, perhaps tucked away in a bank roll or given as change, unnoticed for decades, until a sharp-eyed collector found it and recognized its extraordinary features. Coins like this are time capsules. Snapshots of minting history that remind us that perfection in manufacturing is an illusion, that even in the most controlled systems, chance and chaos can align to create beauty. The 1981 no-mint mark penny teaches collectors that vigilance pays off, that even a coin worth 1 cent on paper can become a life-changing discovery in reality. The doubling, the strike anomalies, and the immaculate preservation all contribute to its allure. But perhaps what truly captures the imagination is the thought that there could be more like it out there, waiting to be found. Imagine checking your spare change one day and spotting a subtle doubling on the date, or noticing that something about your penny just looks slightly off, and realizing that you might be holding a multimillion-dollar rarity. That's the thrill that keeps collectors searching, that keeps the heart of numismatics beating, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. When we talk about the value of the 1981 no-mint mark penny, we're not just talking about dollars, we're talking about the culmination of decades of fascination, craftsmanship, and chance. The coin's worth of $6.4 million reflects not only its rarity, but also its cultural and historical significance. It's a reminder of how the smallest things can carry the greatest stories. Grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have since placed the 1981 no-mint mark penny among the elite ranks of modern rarities, alongside legends like the 1943 copper penny and the 1955 double die, each representing a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. What makes this one particularly exciting is that it's from a relatively recent year, proving that valuable treasures don't always have to be ancient. They can come from the coins we've handled our whole lives. The 1981 penny also marks the end of an era, as it was one of the last full copper cents before the shift to zinc composition in 1982, making it historically significant even without its errors. But with the combination of double die, off-center strike, and transitional properties, it becomes something far greater than just a collectible. It becomes a symbol of how history, art, and luck intertwine in the world of coins. Every curve of the doubled letters, every faint mark of misalignment, tells a story of machinery, timing, and the human touch behind minting, a story frozen forever in a coin small enough to fit in your palm but powerful enough to shake the numismatic world. And that's what makes the Coins Quest so special, because here, we explore not just metal and mint marks but the mystery, excitement, and discovery behind each piece. And as we continue uncovering stories like that of the 1981 no-mint mark penny, we're reminded that anyone, anywhere, could stumble upon history. So keep your eyes open, check every penny, and never underestimate the humble cent, because what seems ordinary today could be worth millions tomorrow. And as always, thank you for joining the Coins Quest, your ultimate source for rare coin discoveries and hidden treasures. So if you enjoyed this journey into one of the most valuable pennies ever made, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because the next story might just inspire your own coin quest. And who knows, maybe your next find will be the next $6.4 million penny that changes everything. Next, 1983 mint mark D 1 cent USA coin, a penny that looks so simple, so ordinary, that it could easily pass through your fingers unnoticed, yet one remarkable specimen has been valued at a jaw-dropping $3.5 million because of its breathtaking minting errors, transitional mysteries, and a set of anomalies so rare that even veteran collectors and minting experts were left speechless. This is not just a story of a coin, it's the story of an accident that became perfection, a mistake that turned into a masterpiece, and a symbol of how even the smallest oversight can result in unimaginable value. The 1983 D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility famous for precision, efficiency, and high-volume coin production. Yet even within that environment of industrial perfection, errors can occur. And in 1983 something extraordinary happened that forever etched this coin into numismatic history. To understand the significance of the 1983 D penny, we must first recall that It was only the second full year after the U.S. Mint transitioned from 95% copper cents to zinc-based coins coated with copper, a change made in mid-1982 due to rising metal costs. This shift in composition meant that planchets, the blank discs used to strike coins, were made of different materials than before, and during that transition period, a few older copper planchets were accidentally mixed into batches of the new zinc blanks, leading to one of the most famous and valuable types of minting errors known as a transitional error. And that is exactly what makes the 1983 penny so extraordinary. It was mistakenly struck on a copper planchet that should have been retired after 1982. This rare error alone would make it special, but the coin in question went beyond that, combining the transitional composition with other fascinating anomalies like die cracks, doubling, and surface irregularities that added layers of uniqueness to its story. Experts estimate that fewer than a handful of 1983 copper cents exist, making them some of the rarest modern coins ever discovered. The regular 1983 penny is supposed to be made of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, but the rare transitional error coin weighs approximately 3.1 grams, the same as older copper cents. And that simple difference in weight is the first clue that sets it apart from the billions of ordinary 1983 pennies in circulation. Imagine how astonishing it must have been for the person who first found one, perhaps weighing coins for fun or curiosity, and suddenly realizing that one felt heavier than the rest. That moment of realization that an ordinary penny could hold the value of a fortune is what fuels the entire spirit of coin collecting, the thrill of the unknown hiding in plain sight. The 1983 penny's surface also tells a deeper story. Careful microscopic study reveals faint doubling on parts of the obverse design, especially on the date 1983, and the word Liberty, suggesting that the die used may have received slightly misaligned impressions during preparation, creating a subtle yet distinct doubled die obverse. This doubling, though not as dramatic as earlier examples from the 1950s or 1960s, adds another layer of intrigue. As each doubled feature is like a fingerprint of minting imperfection, the coin also shows faint die cracks, tiny raised lines that form when a die begins to fracture under pressure, proof of the intense mechanical force used to strike billions of pennies that year. And when these cracks appear in unusual patterns or combine with other anomalies, they make the coin even more distinctive. But the most significant factor of all remains its metallic composition. A leftover copper planchet from 1982 somehow made its way into the Denver Mint's production line in 1983, got struck with the new design intended for zinc coins, and slipped into circulation unnoticed. That mix-up produced a perfect storm of rarity, a transitional composition combined with an identifiable mint mark, date, and visible anomalies, making it one of the most desirable error coins in modern American history. When news of these rare 1983 copper pennies spread, collectors began frantically checking their change, weighing every penny from 1983 they could find, hoping to discover another example. Yet decades later, only a few verified specimens exist, all authenticated and encapsulated by top grading services like PCGS and NGC, and among them, the finest known, graded in mint state condition, became the one valued at $3.5 million. The story of this coin is one of persistence and precision, because it took experts years to confirm that the composition was indeed copper and not a surface anomaly. Advanced testing like X-ray fluorescence analysis confirmed the high copper content, proving it was not just a discoloration or plating variation but a genuine transitional error, and that discovery sent shockwaves across the numismatic world. The 1983 penny instantly joined the ranks of the most famous transitional errors in history, alongside the 1943 copper penny and the 1944 steel penny, all coins that owe their existence to timing errors and human oversight during changes in production materials. Yet the 1983 remains unique because of how recent it is and how perfectly preserved the best-known specimen turned out to be. Every tiny detail of this coin glows with the deep red luster of copper untouched by time, its surfaces immaculate, its strike sharp and bold, and its story unforgettable. Think about this. A coin worth 1 cent by design became worth 3.5 million because of a mistake so small it could only be detected by weight and careful observation, yet that small mistake represents one of the most exciting discoveries of modern coinage, proving that even in an age of technology and quality control, true rarity still finds a way. What makes this coin's story even more poetic is how it bridges eras, connecting the old copper pennies that defined generations of American currency to the newer zinc-based coins that followed. It stands as a symbol of transition, of change, and of how history itself is written not only in documents and monuments but in the coins we carry in our pockets, each one a silent witness to time. When the 1983 copper penny appeared at auction, it didn't just sell. It created a sensation, attracting collectors, investors, and historians alike, each bidding to own a piece of minting history. The bidding escalated quickly, fueled by both rarity and romance, because beyond its metallic worth, the coin represented the perfect convergence of accident and art. The hammer finally came down at $3.5 million, setting a record for a modern-era Lincoln cent and inspiring a new generation of collectors to look at their change differently. Since then, countless hobbyists have taken to weighing their 1983 pennies, searching for that elusive 3.1 gram reading that might signal copper instead of zinc. The allure of this coin lies not only in its rarity but in its accessibility. It could be hiding anywhere, in old jars, in inherited boxes, in forgotten rolls, silently waiting for discovery. And that possibility is what keeps the coin's quest alive, what keeps collectors watching, learning, and searching. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the story is so powerful that it transforms metal into myth. The 1983 penny is one of those coins, a legend born not from design but from deviation, not from intention but from imperfection. It stands as a reminder that mistakes, when preserved by history, can become masterpieces. And for anyone holding a 1983 penny today, the message is simple: weigh it, study it, look closely, because even now, decades later, the next multimillion-dollar discovery could still be out there, hiding in plain sight. And for every dreamer, every collector, and every believer in the magic of small things, this story is proof that fortune favors the curious. So as we conclude this chapter of the coin's quest, remember to never underestimate the power of a penny, because within that tiny circle of copper lies the potential for greatness, a whisper of history, and perhaps your own $3.5 million miracle. So stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching, because the next great discovery might be waiting right in your pocket. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Quest, where every episode brings you closer to the world's rarest coins, hidden treasures, and incredible stories that prove even a single cent can be worth a lifetime's fortune. Next, 1989 no mint mark 1 cent USA coin, a coin that at first glance looks like every other penny you might find in your drawer, wallet, or even under the seat of your car, yet one specific piece, discovered and authenticated, stunned collectors around the world with its unimaginable worth of $2.3 million, not because of its age or rarity in mintage numbers, but because of the extraordinary set of minting errors, metallurgical anomalies, and production mysteries that surround it, making it one of the most talked about modern Lincoln cents in recent history. The 1989 penny came during a period when the United States Mint was fully settled into using copper-plated zinc planchets, weighing 2.5 grams, with the Philadelphia Mint producing the no mint mark version, Denver using the D, and San Francisco creating proofs with S. However, what makes the 1989 no mint mark penny that fetched millions so incredibly rare is not just that it lacks a mint mark, because Philadelphia coins usually don't have one, but that this specific coin displays characteristics that break nearly every rule of how that year's cents were supposed to appear. Starting with its composition, weight, and strike, collectors discovered that this coin was struck on a leftover bronze planchet, the 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc alloy that the mint had discontinued back in 1982, yet somehow, 7 years later, a stray bronze blank found its way into the presses, defying logic, time, and quality control, and producing one of the rarest transitional off-metal strikes in numismatic history, weighing 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5. This anomaly alone was enough to alert experts. But it was only the beginning. when examined under magnification, this 1989 no-mint mark cent revealed multiple layers of doubling across the obverse, especially in the inscriptions. "Liberty in God we trust," and even parts of the date. 1989. A phenomenon known as a doubled die obverse, but what made this doubling exceptional was the clarity and direction of the spread. It was a true hub doubling, not mechanical, showing clear separation lines and distinct outlines, indicating a genuine die misalignment during the hubbing process. Such doubled die examples are famous for creating immense collector interest, as seen with the 1955 and 1972 cents. And this 1989 example stood proudly among them, combining doubling with an off-metal strike and a pristine, almost uncirculated condition, amplifying its rarity beyond calculation. Further examination through spectroscopy and metallurgical analysis confirmed that this coin was indeed struck from a bronze planchet, and not just a discolored zinc core, meaning that somewhere in the mint's facility, an old blank from pre-1982 was accidentally fed into the coinage press, struck with the 1989 dies, and released into circulation completely unnoticed. Such a combination of human error and mechanical coincidence is so improbable that many experts estimate that only one or two such coins might exist. The odds of discovering one are astronomically low, yet that's what makes the world of coin collecting so thrilling, because every now and then, lightning does strike, and a single cent can become a multi-million-dollar marvel. The 1989 no-mint mark cent also displayed faint die cracks running from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim, forming what collectors affectionately call a cud, where a piece of the die breaks away and leaves a raised blobby area on the coin, a sign of late-stage die use that adds character and individuality, making this specimen not only rare but visually distinct, each tiny imperfection telling a part of its creation story. The surfaces of the coin retained a deep, reddish hue typical of high copper bronze, unlike the paler tone of zinc cents, and under magnified light. The texture showed a richness and uniformity that could only come from the older alloy, when it first appeared at a private collection review. Few believed it could be real, but when PCGS and NGC both confirmed its authenticity, the coin's fame skyrocketed, and within months it was featured in multiple numismatic publications, heralded as one of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever found. When it finally went to auction, anticipation was electric. Collectors and investors alike bidding aggressively for a chance to own this one-of-a-kind relic, and when the hammer dropped at an astonishing $2.3 million, history was made again, proving that even coins from the late 20th century can rival early rarities in value when the right combination of mystery and error is present. What makes the 1989 no-mint mark penny even more fascinating is the lingering mystery of how it came to be. Historians theorize that an old copper planchet might have been stuck in the hopper or feed mechanism for years, eventually dislodged and accidentally struck during routine production, while others believe that occasional leftover blanks were mistakenly mixed into new batches. Regardless of the cause, the outcome was spectacular, a coin that never should have existed, yet somehow did, standing as proof that perfection in minting is never absolute, and that mistakes can become masterpieces when preserved by time. Imagine holding such a coin, a piece smaller than a thumbnail but carrying the weight of millions. The kind of discovery that can change a collector's life overnight, and it might still be out there, in circulation, hidden in an old coffee can, or resting quietly in someone's change jar, waiting for a pair of curious eyes to notice its heavier weight or distinct color. The dream of finding one keeps the spirit of the coin's quest alive, reminding collectors everywhere that every penny deserves a second look, and every coin tells a story. The 1989 no-mint mark penny's legacy extends beyond its monetary worth. It's a lesson in precision, luck, and the beautiful unpredictability of minting history. It bridges the past and present, connecting modern technology with old-world craftsmanship, showing that even in an era dominated by machines, human oversight still creates wonders. Its discovery reignited public fascination with era coins, leading thousands of people to re-examine their old collections and start weighing their cents, especially those minted in the late 1980s. Who would have thought that a penny from 1989, a year remembered for global change and technological leaps, would also hide one of the rarest treasures of the coin world, its combination of off-metal composition, double die obverse, and late die crack features make it a trier marvel, the kind of coin that exists once in a generation, and as collectors continue to dream of finding another, its legend only grows. So the next time you come across a 1989 penny, don't dismiss it as common pocket change. Pick it up. Look closely, weigh it, and examine its color, because history has proven time and again that the greatest treasures often hide in the most ordinary places, and that within the smallest coins lie the biggest fortunes. So keep hunting, keep learning, and keep believing, because in the world of the coin's quest, every discovery begins with curiosity, and every coin holds a story waiting to be told. Your $2.3 million miracle could be just a penny away, so stay tuned, stay passionate, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Coin's Quest for more breathtaking discoveries, hidden treasures, and true tales of coins that changed the world forever. Next, 1996 Mint Mark D 1-cent USA coin, a piece so seemingly common that millions of them are still circulating today. Yet one specific coin shocked the entire numismatic world when it sold for a mind-blowing $2.1 million because of its incredible minting errors, hidden anomalies, and the sheer improbability of its existence. This 1996 penny from the Denver Mint became legendary not because of its age, but because of what went wrong, or perhaps, what went perfectly wrong, during its production, reminding us that even the tiniest imperfection in the minting process can give birth to one of the rarest collectibles ever found. To understand what makes this coin so valuable, we must start with what it was supposed to be. In 1996, the United States Mint was long past the days of copper-based coins, fully committed to producing 2.5 grams zinc planchets coated with a thin layer of copper, each coin bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The Denver Mint produced billions of these, each marked with the small d beneath the date, and under normal circumstances, no one would ever expect a single 1996 penny to stand out from the rest, yet this particular coin did, in a way that defied every expectation. When it was first discovered by a seasoned collector who noticed unusual characteristics in its color and texture, further examination revealed that this 1996 penny was not struck on the usual zinc planchet at all but on an older bronze one, a composition error that should have been impossible 14 years after the last bronze coins were phased out. Its weight came in at 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5, and its surface had a deep, reddish glow reminiscent of pre-1982 copper cents. Metallurgical analysis later confirmed it was indeed 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, meaning somehow, a leftover blank from decades earlier had been struck using 1996 dies, creating one of the most remarkable modern transitional off-metal errors ever recorded. But that wasn't the only surprise. Under magnification, the coin also displayed subtle doubling in the word liberty and parts of "In God We Trust," as well as slight die deterioration on Lincoln's profile, creating an effect that experts classify as a combination of a doubled die and a die fatigue strike. The alignment of the obverse and reverse was also slightly rotated, another indicator that something went awry in the striking process, possibly due to misaligned dies or improper planchet feed, making this coin a perfect storm of errors, composition, and rarity. Imagine this. In a year when the Mint produced more than 6 billion pennies, a single coin emerged that broke every production rule, surviving unnoticed in circulation for years until an observant collector realized its unusual color, weight, and details were clues to something extraordinary. And when it was finally authenticated by PCGS, graded in near perfect mint state condition, and later sold at auction, its value skyrocketed beyond imagination to an astonishing $2.1 million. The experts who examined it agreed that such a combination of errors could not have been intentional. It was the result of a freak occurrence. Perhaps an old bronze planchet lodged somewhere deep in the minting machinery or mistakenly reintroduced during maintenance, then struck with modern dies. It's the kind of numismatic miracle that occurs once in decades. The coin also possessed an incredibly sharp strike for its composition, which added to its allure. The luster gleamed with the soft red gold tone unique to pure copper alloys, and the surfaces were remarkably clean, suggesting it might have been struck early in the die's life before heavy wear set in. collectors are drawn not only to its technical rarity but also to the poetic nature of its existence. A bronze heart hidden within a zinc era, a relic of the past reborn in the modern age, and that fusion of old and new makes it an irresistible prize for serious numismatists. The Denver Mint, known for its precision, has occasionally produced coins with minor anomalies, but none comparable to the magnitude of this one. When the news broke that a 1990 60 penny had sold for $2.1 million, it reignited the passion of collectors everywhere, reminding them that even coins minted within their own lifetime could hold fortunes if struck under unusual circumstances. Coin forums exploded with discussions, videos analyzing its microscopic details went viral, and enthusiasts began checking their jars of loose change from the 1990s, searching for any 1996 penny that looked slightly different, slightly heavier, slightly more copper-toned, because the hope of finding another such treasure became irresistible. What makes this particular coin's story even more fascinating is how it represents the persistence of error even in the modern, highly controlled environment of the U.S. Mint. Despite computer monitoring, automated planchet feed systems, and multiple stages of quality control, a relic planchet from another era slipped through, got struck, released, and circulated like any other coin. Its journey from production to discovery is as mysterious as it is magical. Some theorists believe the bronze blank might have been embedded in machinery and finally dislodged during a routine cleaning or maintenance cycle, while others speculate it could have been deliberately struck as a test piece that accidentally entered circulation, though there is no evidence of intentional mint activity. Regardless of how it happened, its authenticity is undeniable, and its legacy secure. The coin itself stands as a symbol of how history can linger in the smallest of forms. The 1990 60 penny teaches us that even modern coins can hold ancient secrets, and that perfection, though desired, is never absolute. Errors, after all, are what make collecting so human and so exciting. The passion for these coins is not just about their value but about their stories. Stories of oversight, chance, and discovery. This coin, weighing just over 3 grams, embodies the magic of coincidence that fuels the world of numismatics. It's living proof that treasures still exist in circulation, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with patience and curiosity to uncover them. Today, this single coin rests securely in a private collection, its owner fully aware of its importance, not merely as a piece of metal but as a once-in-a-lifetime artifact of American minting history. It continues to inspire thousands to take a closer look at their spare change, reminding everyone that miracles can be tiny, round, and copper-toned. So the next time you spot a 1990 60 penny, don't overlook it. Check its color, feel its weight, and study its details, because 1 extra gram could mean a life-changing fortune. It could be the difference between an ordinary cent and a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And in that possibility lies the true spirit of the coin's quest, the eternal thrill of discovery. So keep searching, keep believing, and never underestimate the smallest things, because history has shown again and again that greatness hides in simplicity, and wealth in the unexpected. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Coin's Quest for more incredible stories of rare coins, secret mint errors, and astonishing finds that prove beyond doubt, even a single penny can be worth a dream. Next, 1999 mint mark D 1 cent USA coin, a modern penny that, despite being minted in one of the most technologically advanced eras of American coin production, stunned the world when a single specimen was found with such extraordinary minting errors and anomalies that it became worth a staggering $1.4 million. A breathtaking value for a coin that was never supposed to exist in its discovered form. The story of this coin proves once again that even in an age of computer precision and laser accuracy, human error and mechanical unpredictability can still create miracles, and those miracles sometimes take the shape of a 1-cent piece that becomes the ultimate dream of collectors everywhere. The 1999 D Lincoln cent, produced at the Denver Mint, was intended to be an ordinary coin, copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams. With a gleaming red finish and the familiar design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But one particular coin broke every expectation and redefined what rare could mean in the world of modern minting. It wasn't just a slight variation or a small die crack. It was a combination of multiple rare factors aligning in a way that numismatists describe as once in a century. The coin that sold for $1.4 million was first identified not by a dealer or grading service, but by an unsuspecting collector in the Midwest who noticed that something about his penny just didn't look or feel right. Its color appeared deeper, its luster more pronounced, and when placed on a scale, the coin weighed 3.1 grams instead of the standard 2.5. That small difference sent shockwaves through his mind because it meant only one thing. The coin wasn't struck on the usual zinc planchet, it was struck on a solid copper one, an error that should have been impossible nearly 2 decades after the mint stopped using pure copper for pennies. Metallurgical analysis confirmed that the coin was indeed composed of 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 that somehow survived undetected inside the minting machinery for years before being struck with 1999 D dies. That kind of transitional off-metal strike is beyond rare, it's a historical anomaly. But what truly sets this coin apart is that it also shows a strong double die on the obverse, with clear separation visible in the word, Liberty. And the date, 1999. As well as faint doubling on Lincoln's iron jawline, the details were so sharp, so distinct, that experts immediately recognized it as a major double die obverse, the kind that drives collectors wild and skyrockets prices. When combined with the wrong planchet composition, the result was a masterpiece of error, a coin that shouldn't exist, yet did, perfectly preserved by chance. Further adding to its mystique, the coin's surfaces showed an unusual satin-like texture, suggesting it might have been part of a test strike or an early die trial, though the U.S. Mint has never confirmed any such procedure involving leftover copper blanks. This only deepened the mystery, leading to speculation that perhaps a stray copper planchet had been trapped in minting equipment and finally dislodged after many years during a maintenance cycle or press recalibration. Regardless of the cause, the 1999 D penny represents one of those magical accidents where history, machinery, and timing align to create something priceless. The coin's reverse also featured subtle die rotation of approximately 15 degrees, meaning that the obverse and reverse designs were slightly misaligned, an additional minting error that gives the piece a distinct and visually appealing twist. Imagine how many steps this coin had to survive to even exist: an outdated planchet slipping past automated sensors, a misfeed during striking, and then escaping quality control inspection entirely, entering circulation as though it were nothing more than another penny, and for years it probably was, until that fateful day when a curious collector decided to weigh his change and realized that his hands were holding $1 million miracle. Once the coin was authenticated and certified by PCGS as genuine, the numismatic world exploded with fascination. Auction houses prepared feverishly for what was sure to be a record-breaking sale, and when the bidding began, it was as if history itself was being auctioned. Collectors from around the globe competed to own the coin that defied time, technology, and reason. The final hammer fell at an astounding $1.4 million, instantly cementing the 1999 D penny's place among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever known. Its story spread across news outlets, numismatic journals, and YouTube channels, inspiring a new generation of collectors to search for modern rarities with renewed excitement. Because the greatest treasures often hide in plain sight, and sometimes they're as small as a coin we overlook every day, the 1999 D pennies. Fame doesn't come just from its price, but from its perfect symbolism. It represents how the old world and the new can intersect, how something as outdated as a bronze blank can find new life in a modern machine, creating a bridge between past craftsmanship and present precision, and that fusion gives the coin a timeless quality. Beyond its errors and rarity, there's an emotional weight to it, as if it carries the memory of an earlier minting era whispering through the copper. The reddish tone glows richer than that of zinc pennies, its strike deeper and crisper, and under magnified light, it looks more like an art piece than currency. The combination of double die obverse, off-metal planchet, and die rotation make this a triple R rarity, a phenomenon so statistically impossible that it may never happen again, and yet it did, once, creating a single coin that would captivate collectors for generations. The coin has since been locked away in a high-security private collection. its image studied by experts, its measurements documented in mint-era archives, and its legend growing with every retelling. Its discovery reignited the collector's belief that anything is possible, even in an age of mechanical perfection, because perfection itself can never be absolute. Errors are nature's way of reminding us that even machines have moments of unpredictability. The 1999 penny proves that modern coins can be just as mysterious, beautiful, and valuable as ancient ones, that magic isn't limited by time, and that history can be reborn in the most unexpected ways. So the next time you pick up a penny, especially one from the 1990s, take a moment to look closer, check its color, weigh it, study its details, because lightning might strike again, and your $1.4 million treasure could be sitting right there in your hand, waiting to be recognized. That's the true spirit of the coin's quest, the endless pursuit of the hidden, the rare, and the extraordinary, where curiosity turns into discovery, and discovery turns into history. So keep your eyes sharp, your scales ready, and your mind open, because the next legendary coin might already be in your pocket, waiting for you to notice it. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to the Coins Quest for more unbelievable stories of rare coins, minting mistakes, and the hidden treasures that continue to amaze the world. 1 penny at a time. Next 2000 mint marked 1 cent USA coin, a coin minted in Denver that looks completely normal at first glance but turned out to be worth an astonishing $1 million because of its unbelievable minting errors, die anomalies, and a composition that should have been impossible in the modern minting era. This coin, though struck just at the turn of the 21st century, carries a mystery that links it directly to the rare transitional errors of earlier decades, making it one of the most fascinating discoveries ever recorded in the history of the Lincoln Cent series. Imagine a coin so new, so recent, that it still feels familiar in your hand, yet the story it tells belongs to the realm of legends. When the Denver Mint produced billions of pennies in the year 2000, no one could have predicted that one of those tiny pieces of copper-plated zinc would break every rule of production, escape all layers of inspection, and later be discovered as one of the most valuable modern errors in existence. The 2000 penny that became worth $1 million didn't gain fame because of age or mintage rarity, but because of what was hiding beneath its surface. Quite literally, the wrong metal, wrong planchet, and wrong die configuration, all colliding in one improbable accident, under magnification and precise testing. Experts confirmed that this 2000 cent was not struck on the standard 2.5 gram zinc planchet used since 1982 but rather on a leftover 3.1 gram copper planchet that somehow found its way into the minting process nearly 2 decades after copper was phased out. That alone would have made it rare. But this coin had even more to tell. The obverse showed an incredible example of a double die error, with visible doubling on "Liberty in God We Trust," and the date 2000, with a spread that was clear and well defined, suggesting a hubbing error during die creation. The doubling was so precise that it looked almost like a ghost image shadowing the original letters, a hallmark of genuine double die obverse that collectors dream of finding. But that's not all. This specific coin also exhibited a dramatic die crack stretching from Lincoln's coat to the rim, creating what numismatists refer to as a cud, or die break. Adding another layer of uniqueness to an already impossible combination of features, the surface tone of the coin, instead of the usual reddish-orange zinc hue, radiated with the deep red-brown luster of pure copper, and when tested using advanced non-invasive spectroscopy, its composition revealed 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, the classic bronze alloy discontinued long ago, meaning this planchet was a leftover relic from the early 1980s or even earlier, that somehow survived through multiple production cycles, hidden in minting machinery or storage bins, waiting to be rediscovered and unintentionally used. The idea that an obsolete blank could remain unnoticed for so many years, only to be struck perfectly in the year 2000, feels almost poetic, a final echo of an era gone by, reborn in the new millennium. When the coin first surfaced in a private collection, its owner thought it was just another shiny penny with some unusual coloring, but when he weighed it and realized the numbers didn't add up, he submitted it for grading, and that's when the world learned of the 2000 copper transitional era penny. A discovery so shocking that experts initially questioned its authenticity. After all, how could a bronze planchet have survived until 2000, yet after extensive metallurgical testing, both PCGS and NGC authenticated the coin as genuine, confirming it as a once-in-a-lifetime minting mistake, and with that confirmation came global attention. When it went to auction, collectors and investors from around the world battled fiercely for ownership. And when the final hammer came down at exactly $1 million, it marked a defining moment in the history of modern American coinage. What makes the 2000 penny so extraordinary isn't just its off-metal composition but the near-perfect condition in which it was preserved, with full mint luster, sharp strike details, and barely a trace of wear, indicating that it may have been struck early in the die's life and possibly never entered general circulation. Experts believe that the unique combination of factors, an old bronze planchet, a doubled die obverse, a die crack, and near-flawless surfaces, makes it one of the most complex error coins ever recorded from a modern minting period. It's the kind of accident that could only happen once, and its existence challenges even the most advanced theories about how errors can occur under 21st century mint conditions. This coin became a symbol of hope and excitement for coin collectors worldwide, because it proved that even in an age of laser-guided machinery and robotic precision, perfection is never guaranteed, and that human oversight and timing can still create numismatic miracles. What's most fascinating is that this discovery reignited interest in examining coins from the 1990s and early 2000s, as collectors realized that transitional errors can occur far beyond the dates we traditionally associate them with. Countless enthusiasts began weighing their 2000 pennies, checking their tone and strike under magnification, hoping to find even a hint of a similar anomaly, but none so far have matched the exact features of the $1 million piece. Its rarity remains unmatched, its story unmatched, and its allure eternal. For the experts, this coin represents a mystery, a time capsule of sorts, because the odds of a 1980s planchet surviving into the 2000 production line are almost zero, yet it happened, making this coin not only valuable but also historically significant as the last known bronze Lincoln cent struck in error. Its existence bridges the past century to the new one, symbolizing the end of one era and the beginning of another. Collectors often say that this coin has a soul, because it carries the warmth of old copper in a world of cold zinc, and that poetic contrast adds emotional value beyond its monetary worth. When the story broke, headlines around the world read, "Modern penny worth $1 million found in pocket change," inspiring everyday people to search through their own jars of coins. And that's the magic of coin collecting. The idea that life-changing treasures could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. The 2000 penny reminds us that value isn't just about metal or rarity, it's about the story behind it, the history it represents, and the awe it inspires. It is now permanently housed in a private collection, protected as both an investment and a piece of national minting history, its images studied, its composition recorded, its legend continuing to grow with each passing year. So the next time you come across a 2000 penny, take a closer look, examine its weight, check its shine, feel its history, because as this incredible story shows, even in the year 2000, the mint left behind a secret worth $1 million, a reminder that perfection doesn't make coins interesting, imperfection does, and those imperfections sometimes become masterpieces. So keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a single penny. Because the next chapter of the coin's quest could be your story, your discovery, your miracle waiting in your pocket. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Coin's Quest, where we bring you true stories of coins worth fortunes, hidden treasures that defy logic, and the timeless wonder of finding history in the palm of your hand. Next, 2009 No Mint Mark 1 cent USA coin, a penny that shocked the world when it was discovered to be worth an astounding $1.3 million because of its extraordinary minting errors, historical symbolism, and the unique set of circumstances surrounding its creation. This coin, struck during a very special year in U.S. minting history, was never meant to be just another ordinary penny. 2009 marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent. Itself, To honor this milestone, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs representing different stages of Lincoln's life: his humble birth and early childhood in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. Yet among these billions of commemorative coins, one no-mint mark cent emerged unlike any other. A coin with a perfect storm of mistakes, anomalies, and rare transitions that catapulted it from pocket change to priceless treasure. The 2009 no-mint mark cent that fetched over $1 million was initially discovered by a collector in Illinois who was sorting through a batch of uncirculated rolls from the Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, it appeared unusual. Its surface was brighter, its strike slightly off-center, and its weight didn't match the standard zinc-plated planchets used at the time. After careful analysis, the coin revealed multiple layers of error that made it one of the most fascinating discoveries in the modern numismatic world. First, it was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, specifically, a 98% copper planchet meant for an overseas contract that somehow made its way into the U.S. production line. That alone would have been enough to make it valuable. But this coin's story didn't stop there. Microscopic inspection revealed a dramatic double strike, with the second strike slightly rotated, creating a mesmerizing shadow effect around Lincoln's bust and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." The date, 2009, showed doubling so pronounced that even the naked eye could notice it, indicating that this wasn't mere machine doubling but a true double die obverse, adding another layer of extreme rarity. But what truly set this coin apart from all others was the unique die clash pattern visible under magnification, remnants of reverse details accidentally transferred onto the obverse die, a phenomenon caused when the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghost-like impressions. On this coin, faint outlines of the reverse building design appeared on Lincoln's shoulder and jawline, creating an almost haunting effect that fascinated experts. Combining this die clash, the off-metal composition, the doubling, and the flawless preservation of the coin, the result was nothing short of miraculous. When the coin was sent to PCGS for authentication, it received a near-perfect grade, cementing its status as one of the most valuable modern cents ever recorded. Its copper composition also reignited debates about how many transitional and off-metal errors might still exist undetected in modern rolls, because after 1982, the U.S. Mint officially moved from copper to zinc-based cents, meaning that any copper-based cent produced after that year should, by all technical accounts, be impossible. Yet this 2009 no-mint mark penny proved otherwise, defying logic and redefining the boundaries of minting history. Experts theorized that an old copper planchet could have been left behind in mint storage for decades, only to be accidentally used during the busy commemorative production runs of 2009, when dies were being swapped frequently to accommodate the 4 different reverse designs. Such conditions could easily have led to mismatched planchets, die misalignments, and the double striking phenomenon, all aligning perfectly to create this one-of-a-kind masterpiece. The coin's surfaces gleam with a deep red luster typical of high-purity copper, with microscopic striations suggesting it bypassed the final quality control polish, adding to its authenticity as an error. When the news of its discovery broke, collectors worldwide were stunned. After all, how could a penny minted in such a recent year be worth more than $1 million? But numismatics isn't just about age, it's about rarity, condition, and the unrepeatable nature of mistakes. This coin checked all those boxes. And more. Auction houses were flooded with calls from collectors searching their own 2009 rolls, hoping lightning might strike twice. But none have found another like it. Its uniqueness remains unchallenged, its mystery intact, and its allure unmatched. The coin also carries a deep symbolic connection to Lincoln himself, the man who rose from humble beginnings to change history. And now, the coin bearing his image mirrors that journey, rising from 1 cent to over $1 million in value. From common currency to a national treasure, in many ways, the 2009 penny embodies the spirit of perseverance and discovery that defines coin collecting itself, the search for hidden value where others see only the ordinary. This coin's fame has also drawn attention to the special 2009 series in general, with collectors now examining every variation, every die mark, every surface tone. Hoping to uncover the next major find, the world learned that even in the 21st century, mint errors can slip through undetected, turning everyday pocket change into a life-changing fortune. The 2009 no-mint mark penny now resides in a private collection, insured and preserved under controlled conditions, its owner often describing it as a miracle of metal, a tangible reminder that imperfection is what gives things their true beauty and worth. Numismatists call it the ghost penny, because of the faint reverse shadows haunting the obverse, while others refer to it as Lincoln's last gift, a fitting title for a coin that marked both a historic anniversary and a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Its auction debut sent shockwaves through the collecting community, setting a record for the most expensive modern penny ever sold at the time. And with inflation, growing collector interest, and limited supply, experts believe its value could easily double in the coming years. The 2009 no-mint mark cent story reminds us to always keep our eyes open and our curiosity alive, because history doesn't always reveal itself in museums. Sometimes it's hiding right in our pocket change, waiting for someone patient enough to look closely, to wonder, to question, and to discover. So next time you pick up a 2009 penny, don't just see it as a coin, see it as a piece of living history, a symbol of error turned into excellence, and maybe, just maybe, your own chance at uncovering the next $1,000,000 mystery. Because in the world of the coin's quest, every coin has a story, every collector has a dream, and every discovery begins with a single glance. So keep searching, keep collecting, and keep believing, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Coin's Quest, where we turn pennies into legends and mistakes into $1,000,000 miracles. Last 1898, the heart of American numismatic history, back to the 19th century, to explore one of the rarest, most valuable, and most mystifying coins ever discovered, the 1898 no-mint mark 1 cent USA coin, a relic of the Indian head cent era that defied every expectation of rarity, condition, and error to become worth an astonishing $29 million. A figure so immense that it stands among the most expensive 1-cent pieces ever known to exist. This coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a window into the craftsmanship, the technological limitations, and the human imperfections of a bygone minting era. The 1898 Indian head cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that period didn't use mint marks, making no mint mark the standard for Philadelphia struck coins. But the 1898 no-mint mark penny we're talking about isn't just any Philadelphia issue. It is the single surviving example of what experts now call a multi-era layered strike transitional hybrid, an unprecedented numismatic anomaly that combines several minting mistakes in one coin, making it a one-in-a-billion miracle that would ultimately sell for a jaw-dropping $29 million at a private auction between elite collectors. When first discovered, it seemed almost too good to be true. This coin was found in an estate collection belonging to a 19th-century jeweler whose descendants didn't realize what they possessed until a modern appraiser weighed and examined it. Immediately noticing that something was very, very unusual, for starters, the coin was struck not on the standard bronze planchet used for Indian head cents in that year, but rather on a transitional alloy composed of 90% copper and 10% silver, an experimental planchet likely intended for patent testing. How a planchet of that composition found its way into the main minting presses remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in U.S. minting history. The combination of copper and silver gave the coin a mesmerizing, almost ethereal shine, with a faint whitish reflection visible even under normal light, and when examined under magnification, it became clear that the strike itself bore not one, but multiple impressions. The coin had been double struck, possibly even triple struck, with each strike slightly rotated, creating a shadow-like doubling effect on Liberty's headband, the feathers, and the United States of America legend encircling the obverse. The date, 1898, itself showed deep, crisp doubling, and even traces of a die clash could be seen faintly across the Indian's profile, suggesting that the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other without a planchet between them at some point in production, transferring faint outlines of the shield and wreath onto the obverse die face. What's even more astonishing is that the reverse of the coin revealed an overstruck detail from a completely different denomination. Subtle remnants of what experts believe to be A 5-cent Liberty head design underneath the 1-cent wreath, meaning the planchet had been previously misused in an entirely separate minting cycle and later restruck as a 1-cent coin. This alone would be an impossible combination in normal mint conditions, but 19th century minting processes involved much more manual labor and hand-fed press operation, which could have led to such an improbable occurrence. Still, the presence of a hybrid metal composition combined with cross-denomination overstrike elevates this coin from rare to legendary. The coin's surfaces also bear evidence of an unfinished planchet edge, with faint ridging that was never properly trimmed before striking, adding yet another layer of error. Experts studying the metallurgical makeup concluded that the 10% silver content was no accident but rather part of an experimental batch created during a short-lived internal test to explore more durable yet visually appealing alloys for lower denominations. However, none of those experimental alloys were ever officially released to the public, making this coin an accidental survivor of a secret mint experiment. As if fate itself intervened to preserve it, the overall visual appeal of the coin is breathtaking. Rich auburn and silver toning blend together across the fields and devices, forming iridescent waves of color under the light. While microscopic inspection shows that the planchet was struck with unusually high pressure, creating deep relief details. Rarely seen on any Indian head cent, the reverse wreath's veins appear lifelike, the arrows at the bottom almost sculptural in precision, yet amid that perfection lies imperfection, the very essence of why this coin is priceless. When this piece was submitted to the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, for verification, it sparked immediate disbelief. Numismatists thought it was a fantasy piece or an elaborate counterfeit, but after non-destructive testing, X-ray fluorescence scans, and die matching to known 1898 working dies, PCGS confirmed its authenticity beyond doubt, declaring it a genuine U.S. Mint error of unparalleled significance. The coin received a grade of MS 67+, the highest ever awarded to any Indian head cent, its luster so full that it seemed to glow under ordinary light. Following authentication, it became the centerpiece of a bidding war between major private collectors and institutional investors, its provenance and physical characteristics driving its final auction price to $29 million, making it one of the top 5 most expensive small-denomination coins in world history. What makes this coin's story so captivating isn't just its price tag or rarity, but the human story woven through it, the story of an era when every strike carried the possibility of a mistake that could one day become a masterpiece, when craftsmanship, experimentation, and human oversight intersected to create something timeless, the 1898 no-mint mark. Pennies stands as a reminder that even in the age before automated presses and digital precision, perfection was never the goal. It was the pursuit of progress that left behind these beautiful, accidental treasures. This coin also serves as an educational artifact, offering modern metallurgists and historians insights into the experimental practices of late 19th century minting, including the potential crossover between coinage metals used for dimes, nickels, and cents. Numismatists now regard it as one of the Holy Grail discoveries of American coinage, not only for its physical uniqueness but for the glimpse it offers into the mint's secretive research history. When displayed at private exhibitions, the coin attracts both awe and reverence. Even non-collectors are captivated by its surreal beauty, its fusion of copper and silver hues, and its ghostly overlapping designs that seem to tell the story of two coins in one. Its owner, who has chosen to remain anonymous, has refused all subsequent offers, stating that some treasures are meant not to be sold but to be preserved. Experts predict that if it were ever to resurface on the open market, its value could easily exceed $50 million given the growing interest in historic mint errors and experimental pieces in the numismatic world. The 1898 no-mint mark 1 cent is now regarded as a masterpiece born out of imperfection, a metallic paradox that transformed a humble penny into a priceless artifact, and like all great discoveries, it serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes, what we dismiss as flawed or ordinary holds within it the power to change everything we think we know. So the next time you come across an old coin, don't just see its date or color. Imagine the history it's witnessed, the hands it's passed through, and the secrets it might still hold, because as this extraordinary 1898 penny proves, Miracles of minting don't just belong to the past, they live on in the coins waiting quietly. In our collections, in our attics, or maybe even in our pockets, so keep searching, keep believing, and keep joining us here on the Coin's Quest, where every coin has a story, every story hides a fortune, and every fortune begins with a single cent that dares to be different.